Coffee bad. We're live.
Oh,
We just
are we live?
went live. We just went live. Hang on. Let me check. Let me make sure we're okay. Let's see. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait
Yeah.
a minute. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if it's on there or not. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, there it is. We got 5 people here.
Now
Whew,
I'm looking
man.
at I'm looking at the screen. I can see me, I can see you, but I can't see any comments. It's a different
Okay.
format screen.
Yeah, look on the right. I think it's on the right. No, the left side. There's a little icon, and it says click this if you want to see comments. Can you see it? Are
I'll
you on the
press
phone?
it.
Are you on a phone?
Yeah.
Oh, I think on the phone. I don't know if you can see comments. Yeah, I don't think you can see comments on the phone.
Okay, that's okay then. It's
Yeah,
just a different format.
yeah. Whew, man, man. Okay, so we're ready to start. We got 23 people in the house. Hello, everybody.
And
Hmm.
I can't see who's coming in and who's not. I've invited a few people.
Yeah, Nacia, Bo James, Katarina, De Arma, Brad Clemmer, Paul Hanrider, Janet Ann Gilliam, Nancy Hodges, Anera Whitebear, Heather Nielsen, Cheryl Orr Conroy, Selah Adams, Colleen Burke Shot. And 29 people total, but I can't see all that. Deanna Mitchell. So they're coming. Here, let me share it, and then we'll start. Let me share it to the group and through the network. Oh my God, I'm on fire. I'm serious, dude. I'm like on fire, man. It's happening. I just got up from a nap. Oh my God. I feel like I'm gonna burst. Okay. And just a few more. Ooh, man. Wow. Okay.
You need to.
35
Are you
people.
watching?
35, 35, 35 people in the house. Yeah. So yeah, please share. Thanks, Bo James. Okay. So yeah, these shows resonate. Please share. So we have a reunion. This has been, oh my God, it's been since, I know when it happened. It was in the summer of 2017. So it's been a while, a year and a half, almost since we first started doing these. Yeah, we started doing them, I think,
Yeah,
in March of 2017. So this is
that's
like
it.
almost 800 episodes later.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have our dear old friend from Adelaide, South Australia, Mick Rogers. Everybody knows Mick from his Elvis impersonations and singing in the shower and sharing all his sharing all of his beautiful energy in the Soulogy community and online. Totally, he's built quite a following. There's like women falling in his trail like a wake, like a skier. They're behind a boat. All right. So Morgan says, "Tell Jude to come on and wave." That's what
Jude,
I'm just passing it on.
Jude, can you please come here, darling?
Dwayne Arbizu. I am Debbie's here. Marcia Duroff. Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. Hi. Oh, beautiful. Very cool.
Oh,
Yes, good idea. Now that we've seen your better half, let's talk about the half in front of us. The worst half.
that's the one.
So you and
The
Morgan were
one.
talking. You and Morgan were talking yesterday. I think it was
Yep.
yesterday. And you have all these things going on, which is what this whole.
Yep.
Well, welcome back. First of all, I can barely sit down. So, yeah, this is what it's all about. So, what have you been going through? What's been going on? You've got a bunch of stuff happening. I don't even know where to
Yes.
start. You're going to have to guide me.
Yeah. Well, I suppose there's no start really. This year, especially, some serious shifting's been going on. Some serious on my personal experience. Some serious downloading, if you want to talk about it. Some serious understanding of knowledge that I've had for a long time, but didn't truly understand where I thought I understood. Basically, I feel this year that I thought I knew things, and I realise now how little I did know. Where I thought that I understood certain things, I know now that I truly understand certain things. And it's really accelerated this year. The connections with people, opportunities, information, speeding up, accelerating, coming together, however you want to put a label on it.
Hang on one second. Keep going.
And
hello.
I'm realizing that there's a lot of talk, and has been a lot of talk with a lot of different people on the spiritual community level, about a lot of things over the years since I've felt myself pulling into this vibration. And my perspective on the situations now, and it's only my perspective, and I'd like to say that because that has a lot to do with where I am in the state of consciousness on this planet or in existence. My understanding now, and I've listened to lives that you're doing with other people, and listening to how other people are figuring things out themselves. The healing side of other people by healers, we're understanding now, and I'm seeing it more and more often through individuals' perspective on life, consciousness itself, that we are all individuals in our own perfect divine place in consciousness. And knowing and understanding that allows you to have no judgment to the individual. And that's where, you know, this is just where I believe we are in the fabric of life. And looking back at the history of humanity and how humans have interacted with the earth and themselves for a long period of time now, things are changing at a very, very quick rate. And I had a conversation with my son only a couple of days ago, and it sort of, he's 20, he's just turned 20 this week, and I sort of went for him for a little bit of advice over a situation I was in. And he basically said to me, Dad, you know about the Feng Shui? And I said, yes, Mikey, I do. And he said, Dad, do you know about the Feng Shui? And I said, yeah, I do. Mikey, I do. You know, I'm a martial artist. I know what energy does. I know this. I know this. And he goes, Dad, you're not listening to me. Do you know about the Feng Shui? And I said, well, you tell me. And he said, my advice to the situation that you're in is this: Dad, don't fuck up the Feng Shui. And I said, yeah, okay. And he goes, no, Dad, you're not listening. Don't fuck up the Feng Shui. And I thought I still understood, but he said it to me 3 times. And on the 3rd time, it was like I was hitting the head with a brick. And what I thought I understood about the Feng Shui and energy all came together. It was like the fractals of information that I thought were knowledge all came together in that single moment in time. And I was, well, you could say enlightened on the spot, an epiphany, a download, a spiritual awakening, a chickadee check moment, as a dear friend of mine puts it, an understanding. So an opportunity. I had a dream years ago that I did speak to you about on one of our earlier lives, when I was going through, you know, some very serious health issues. I was spoken to in a dream. I was presented with numbers and letters and symbols, and the letters were OIKU, which were then presented in another dream down the track as opportunity, information, knowledge, and understanding. So that put the format of life in a simple form to me by before anything ever happens, regarding anything, from the molecular level to the macro level to the micro, whatever, before anything ever happens, an opportunity needs to be presented, but before energies interact. Now, once that opportunity happens, along with that opportunity is presented information. And what we do with that information is up to us. But with that information that you accrue over a period of time, and it comes in fractals, because, you know, we're very busy human beings doing this, that, and the other, stuck in patterns and beliefs and all that sort of stuff. So this beautiful information comes to us, whether we're aware of it or not. And due to the amassing of that information, and I'm talking about this information runs through our genetic existence. So download by genetics, download by association, situations, and all that sort of stuff. You start to amass knowledge. So it's a bit like a book of encyclopedias. The information in each volume is fractal. They're fractals of knowledge, little bits and pieces. But together, they create the volumes of information, which is their knowledge. Now, through the opportunity to absorb information to create knowledge, that's a beautiful thing. But without the understanding, which was the last letter that I had in my dream, without that understanding, you can have all the knowledge that exists, And unless you understand that knowledge, then it's just knowledge that exists. So it'd be like looking at a series of encyclopedias sitting on a shelf. Well, that knowledge is there, but are you going to, look through that and absorb that information and understand and create that knowledge for yourself? Then you can have all that knowledge regarding whatever it is. But unless you understand that knowledge, you will never move forward from that point. I know about this, I know about this, I know about this, but do you? A little example is unconditional love. It's been thrown around the place. Excuse me. It's been thrown around the place. I love you unconditionally. They're words that are coming out. But there's a lot of people that have that knowledge. They know that knowledge, unconditional love, but they don't understand it. And when you have those moments, excuse me.
It's all right.
When you have those moments, they're the moments of understanding, of true understanding.
Yeah.
So if I can explain something to everyone that's listening, and I know there are some people that are listening that will resonate with what I'm about to tell them, because I see them struggling in certain areas in their life regarding certain things. And I've tried to help in certain ways with certain people because that's my instinct, to help unconditionally. But I do know now, and it's only very recently now, that the key doesn't lie in somebody else helping you. It lies in you helping you.
Yeah.
And we have to take, when I say we have to take, I shouldn't even say that we have to take, because every single individual on this planet is in their own place on this journey as a human hybrid soul on this planet. And some people will never get certain information. Some people will get it and won't do anything about it. Some people will get it, amass the knowledge, and finally have an understanding on whatever area it is that they need that understanding. So the understanding that I was given about the Feng Shui energy has been a moment of understanding, or a moment of clarity. And they're the moments, they are the most blissful moments of now. We talk about the past. I won't get too much into the past, the present, and the future, because I do believe in a lot. There's so much that as humans we're not aware of, and that comes about through patterns and beliefs. So we talk about it in the spiritual community about programming, pre-programming. That's been going on for a long time. Programming through education, programming through everything, and that's just the way it was. And a lot of blame a lot of blame going on in certain areas. And where I feel in my life, at just my perspective, is that, do you know what? That's all beautiful. It's so beautiful. The devastation, it's there for a reason. It's there as a contrast. People talk about the light and the dark. There is no dark. It's all perspective. You know, we as a human, with our senses that we're conditioned in, our little 5 senses, we can't see in the dark, but a cat can see in the dark. So it's perspective. It's only what our senses are allowing us to do. And if we're aware that we can expand those senses, we truly start to understand how powerful we can be as a human hybrid soul on this planet in this time. A little example with that was a documentary I came across with this young girl. She was 9 years old at the time. She's about 12 now. And she has some amazing gifts, Todd. And so much so that very, very powerful people were aware, and they thought she was a bit of a, that she thought that they thought there was a, they didn't believe what this girl was capable of doing. And so they had about 20 of the world leaders on this planet with their top scientists, and they had her up on stage and they blindfolded her, wrapped stuff around her head so she couldn't see with her human eyes, and then they put books and artwork in front of her, and she just read the books, described the artwork without even touching it, and they realized that she was actually doing what they couldn't believe was possible to do. Now, this young girl then proceeded to explain to all these scientists, she said, you guys are all of you are capable. She was seeing through her third eye. So all of you guys are capable of doing what I'm doing. And a few of them sort of, yeah, and all that. And then she said, but none of you will ever achieve what I'm doing. And they found it with their egos pretty hard to get around that. And they basically said to her, well, you said we're all capable of doing it. Why are you telling us we're not going to be able to do it? And she said to them quite simply, because before you're able to do what I'm doing, you have to be able to let go of every single thing that you've learnt before and every pattern that has been created. And it was as simple as that. So the scientists, all that bullshit, 3-dimensional stuff which exists in our reality is far exceeded. It's like a Stone Age man with a hammer as a rock as a hammer, and he won't let go of that, even though he might be aware that there's a power drill round the corner or a jackhammer around the corner that he might be able to use. He'll be so ingrained in his belief, he won't let go of that old tool. And that's what it is. That information is old tools. And the people that are in control, well, the people that are manipulating humanity on a global scale and have been doing it for a long, long time, hold the knowledge to the tools that we're using, and they make money from it, and they create the world that we live in from that. So they don't want to let go of that, even though they're aware. Most of them would be aware of, the new tools, but they don't want them. They don't want us to have the new tools, but it's a bit too late for that. So basically, that analogy is the old three-dimensional foundations that we have been building on for so long now are crumbling, and they will return back to the earth. And the new foundations, which are being built now, are being built with a different vibration. And that's a vibration of understanding and love. And this is so there's so many ways, there's still so many ways, labels to put on it. The new grid we're building, the new this, the new that. But what I believe in is, I can put it in a simpler term than that. What we're doing is we're slowly returning the Feng Shui, the fabric of life, the fabric of existence, back to its natural organic state. And, my son telling me, don't fuck up the Feng Shui, Dad, don't fuck up the Feng Shui. It is as simple as that. The Feng Shui is the energy of the fabric of consciousness that weaves and intertwines through everything, dimensions, parallel universes, alternative universes, galaxies, us humans, plants, the air, the water, the ground, everything. This is it. It's one living entity that lives and survives on a frequency. And if there is, say, a natural disaster, say something does happen, well, what happens is that the planet and the Feng Shui will reconnect it, will recorrect it. So what we do is just, or have been doing, is basically fucking up the Feng Shui, sticking our greedy little fingers into it, into the energy field, and getting out of that energy field on a personal level what serves us on a global scale. So, the building of the new grid, the raising of a vibrational frequency from the three-dimensional frequency to the 5D, to the 7D, to the 9D, whatever. However, there's no limit. The limits are labels. So in a whole, my perspective is, and we talk about we're one, we are one, we are one. I love you, brother, I love you, sister, we are one. We are. And when you understand that final understanding, then I found myself that there is no judgment. Judgment is a lower vibrational frequency. Don't get me wrong in the fact that we do need judgment, but here's the judgment that we might need. I'm going to jump across this canyon, a cliff canyon, well, I need to bring in judgment for me to deal with that situation, to judge how dangerous it might be, to judge and analyze the possible outcome, the consequence of the action. Well, that judgment's entwined back into the opportunity, the information, and the knowledge and the understanding, all wrapped back up into that one thing. So the true understanding of oneness allows us not to judge on any level. And you can explain the judgment. There's a book of them: black, white, yellow, brown, gay, straight, rich, poor, whatever. It's all judgment. It's all judgment. And to fully understand that as humans, human hybrid souls on this planet, we're all connected, and we're connected to every other thing that exists. So I'm feeling the vibration and the consciousness level of this planet rising more and more each day. And if I may be of assistance in any way about, transferring a bit of information, thank you. Excuse me. It's a little bit drop the judgment. Drop the judgment. The ego's coming into play. I listen to people talking about, I'm trying to relay this information to people and they don't fucking listen. What's wrong with them? What's wrong with these people? There's nothing wrong with these people. There's nothing wrong with anyone. Everyone's in their own place. We're all individuals. We're all individuals, but we're all connected. So what's happened to me hasn't happened to you. What's happened to her hasn't happened to him. We may have similar situations that have happened, but the actual situation is never the same. It can't be. We're individuals. Someone may have been, molested when they were a child. Well, there's a lot of people that have been molested when they're children. And our patterns and beliefs just revolving around that is to push all that down deep. But where we are now, we're understanding that we need to address all those issues and bring them to the surface and deal with them unconditionally. And that's the test. Here's the opportunity to face those issues, those fears. They're nasty. Some of them are very nasty. I can't even comprehend what some people have been through in their life. I can comprehend certain situations. I had my best mate suicide. I'd attempted a suicide in my life as well. I had another mate that attempted suicide. I have a big connection to all that sort of stuff, and I know where I was when I was feeling those things back then. And so, I have been in those situations, so I have a resonance with other people that have been in that situation, just the same as somebody that had been molested as a child that meets somebody else or talks to somebody else that's been molested as a child. They have an instant connection. And where I'm getting with all this is that, as terrible as some of these things are, they are still stories of the individual. They don't exist in the now. So something that's happened when you were 5 or 6 or 3 or whatever isn't happening now. But the memories exist when you bring them into the now. So wrapping everything up and trying to dig deep, as humans, where some of us are a little bit more ready than others to accept the pain that you have to go through, which you have to go through to bring all those emotional issues to the surface and deal with them. And as you're quite well aware of, and myself as well, and so many other people that I listen to their stories, is that you peel back something and you think, well, there is a little bit of a release there, because what you're actually doing is you're freeing up that energy. You're freeing up that Feng Shui, that internal energy that's running through you, that is being disrupted by the thought process of reliving some of these situations that you've been through in your life. So by reliving these things in your mind and bringing them into the now, you're fucking up the Feng Shui, mate. That's basically what you're doing. And whether you know it or not, that's what you're doing. So, we've got a lot of people, look at what you're doing and what you've been doing, Todd. The platform that you've created to bring like-minded souls together to share their stories and resonate with each other every single day. You're relentless. You were put into a situation and you chose in those moments to react to that situation in a certain way, whatever way it is, was, whatever. And by acting in that way, there's a consequence of those actions. Whatever the action is, there's a consequence. If you're acting out of love, there'll be a consequence to that. If you're acting out of fear and hate, there'll be a consequence of that. Years ago, I let my ego get the better of me, fueled by drugs and alcohol as well. I was put into a situation and, spent some time separated from my family, if you know what I mean, due to that situation. And I look back at it and people say, if you could go back, somebody said it to me today, Mick, if you could go back in time and change anything, would you? And I went, no, not now, not ever, because I'm happy that I'm holding this information, knowledge and understanding right now, and talking to you right now. Relaying this information. Why would I want to be anywhere else? It's such a beautiful thing. I had the opportunity to talk with Mikey's mates last night and connect with those guys. They're in their 20s, and I know what I was like when I was 20, in my 20s. and my crew that I had. And I stood back, and as each and every one of them came in the doorway, due to the Feng Shui situation that I had with Mikey a few days ago, I was seeing the aura and the energy of every single individual that came through the front door. And then I got the opportunity to look at them play with their energy outside and what they were doing and all that sort of stuff. And if I could go back in time and change one thing, then that wouldn't exist. That now wouldn't have existed. This now wouldn't exist. So if I can help anyone with information regarding what I'm going through at the moment, it is this. Understand that every single thing is connected, and to work perfectly in harmony, we have to have that understanding first that everything's connected. There is no separation. They're labels and patterns and beliefs that have been ingrained in us due to what's been going on the planet with certain people to keep us separated. Pandora's box has been opened. The internet has allowed the transfer of information on a global scale. And, you know, when I got into Facebook, you know, Morgan was one of my first friends I met in that spiritual community. And I'd met her due to, you know, looking for information regarding health issues, which led me, opened up another door, then opened up another door, and then opened up another door. You know, and I felt a very, very strong connection with Morgan, and that connection just grows every single day. And then, you know, I heard about you, Todd, and Morgan explained to me how, you know, she'd met you and some of the work that you two were doing together. And, you know, I decided I'll go and have a look what this fella's up to, and watched what you were doing. At first, to be absolutely honest, at first I was resonating with you in certain areas, and in some other areas I had my doubts. And the one thing that I didn't doubt was Morgan's intuition. So any doubt that I had towards you would fall away when I laid back into Morgan's intuition. And I started to understand. I saw so many similarities in you with me, and the struggles that you were going through are mind-blowing. You know, at sometimes watching you was like watching myself, and how you were dealing with things, and the rawness and authenticity, no matter where you were, Todd. Fucking walking up the road, bloody pissed with what's his with your bro over there, videoing yourself coming back from the pub, and I'm thinking, oh my God, he's going to get run over by a car in a minute. But you were there. You were there, basically pants down, not pants down literally, but exposing you to the rest of the world on your platform. That was just a little moment. Your spirit walks, I've watched you grow, Todd, so much, along with so many other people. And it's so beautiful to be here and now in this now. Why would we want to be anywhere else? Well, I know I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now. So back to maybe a little bit of advice to anyone that might be listening. Understand first that everything's connected. And with that understanding, you will have no judgment. People will still judge. That's the challenge. We're going to be presented every single day with opportunities, every single day, on opportunities on how to react to that situation. And if we look at our lives and how we, journey through our lives, if we can not fuck up the Feng Shui and put the best of us forward as best as we can, because that's all you can do is try, and we will fuck up along the way. That's the human side of us. The soul side of us never fucks up, mate. The soul side of us knows, and the soul side of us is guiding the human side of us. And when people start to understand that there's that the higher self is the soul, which is guiding us, we will understand then that nobody can fix us. You had the chat with Paul and Michael earlier on today that I got on with, got on board and had a little listen, and I heard you talk about fixing it, and your understanding that we can't fix anyone. You've got to fix yourself, and you know that, Todd. You know that so much. You know that you had to dig deep. You knew that you had to bring the so-called darkness, if that's a label, and there's situations that you had deep down inside you. You had to bring them to the surface. And we do have help. We do have help, and the people that help us are there for a reason. They're there to help us, but the help isn't the fixing, it's the guiding. And I've noticed more and more people now on the spiritual level are coming to that understanding. They're saying, oh, fucking, I'm so exhausted trying to heal people and, all this and all that and all this. And I'm starting to understand that they have to heal themselves. Well, that's exactly what it's about. We are blessed that we have the guides around us that come in all shapes and forms, even the animal. My little chihuahua, she's 17 years old, and she guides me. So she's not even a human. She's a little chihuahua. And if I get a little bit upset or my vibration, isn't what it's supposed to be, she'll come and sit right down by my side and look at me until my vibration changes. And as soon as she comes and sits down, my vibration has to change. I look at her, little unconditional little thing she is, and my vibration changes. There's just one little example. So, we as humans, we're helping each other. We are helping each other. Look what you're doing, you are doing, and what's happening here. The band of people that are on this train, the Soulogy train, it's bloody unbelievable. From when I joined with you a few years ago, and there was a core group of people, and how much it's expanded to now, to today. It's like we've gone from kindergarten, preschool, and now we're, middle school or whatever, or high school or whatever, putting labels on it again, but sort of like that. The connection as well, I was going to touch on, I had a few things written down, because I noticed in the live you did with Michael and Paul, you mentioned your daughter, how her intuition about some situation, I don't even know what the situation was, but I've just got the memory of what you were talking about, the connection with your daughter, how she's taught you something. Isn't that so beautiful? That how there's a pure example of how things are changing. Because back in the old days, the kids didn't teach the adults anything. Sit down in the corner, shut up and be spoken to when you spoke to, and that's it. But the raising of consciousness now on this planet is so intense. These younger star seeds, that's just a label too. It's the younger generation. Are using their gifts. I can only even explain it like that. They're watching what's going on all the time, like we are. But our blockages have been our patterns and beliefs that have been inground or beaten into us over our lifetime. And these young ones, some of them still are, but on a global scale, they don't know some of these patterns and beliefs. And because things are changing with us, we're not passing on those patterns and beliefs to them. So eventually things will manifest, that the Feng Shui will return. The Feng Shui will return to its natural organic state. So the patterns and the belief system of the 3D matrix, or however you want to put it, will not exist. It's crumbling around us in every, I see it in everything. And these young crew now that are coming up and growing up won't have those patterns and beliefs. They won't exist. They'll have their new way of dealing with things, and it won't be the old way. It'll be the new way, the new vibrational frequency, on every level, on the food they eat, on what they do, on how they think. Look at what's happening, Todd. You can see it, you can feel it. I've just become friends with an amazing fellow. That connection again was just bizarre. I had known about the fellow, but never ever met him. And I was round at a friend's house the other day, and he was on the phone to him, and he basically just went, "Hey, I want to introduce you to your clone." Oh, what's going on here? Well, 2 hours later, we were still talking on the phone. The the resonance of frequency and exchange of information was absolutely phenomenal. And in that transfer of information, he let me know that he's got a 9-year-old son. That is, he's 9 years old, Todd, and he's next level, next generation, spirit incarnate, however, whatever labels you want to put on it. And he got on the phone while I was talking to his dad and started to talk to me about monatomic elements and ormus and medicinal properties in plants and absorption rates and DNA downloads and putting seeds in your mouth before you plant them to activate so the seed soaks up your DNA and then that plant will grow for your specific purposes. And this lad's 9 years old. He's amazing. And if Morgan's listening, you know, I did mention that to Morgan yesterday, and let Morgan know. And I think maybe his dad might be listening too. I spoke to him just before I came on the live. I've spoken with his dad, and I've mentioned you, of course, and he's very, very receptive for you to have a chat to him. The 9-year-old, Kai, his name is. So to have a 5D conversation with a beautiful 9-year-old starseed and see what his perspective is on life and consciousness here on the planet.
Wow.
So that's going to happen, Todd.
Wow.
Morgan pushed that one, and Morgan basically said to me, you know, she's very, very interested in focusing on the younger generation. You know, you've been pulling all these amazing people together on this journey, this Soulogy journey, but no buts. It has been predominantly adults, older people, our generation, a bit younger too, but the opportunity now. And I see it. I see the feminine, the mother, the divineness in Morgan to facilitate that younger group of people that are raising their consciousness and their vibration on the planet at this time. The mother, I feel that mother energy. And that's so damn important. You know, we talk and toss around the masculine energy, the physical energy. When I was laying in bed the other night, I was facing the doorway. I was sort of laying on my side, and something came in the room. It was a feminine energy, long hair. I think it was an Indian energy from American Indians, came into the room, turned around, and laid down into my body shape. It just came in, didn't hesitate, walked in, turned around, and then bum first laid down into me as I was into the bed. I shit myself. I thought, what the f***'s going on here? And in that moment, I had a choice. The first thought was, I'm going to be scared to go back to sleep because I could allow this to scare me, or do I accept it and just go with the flow and see what the outcome is, see what this information is, see what this opportunity that's just been presented to me with this information is. Well, yesterday morning, I was talking with a fellow, and we were talking about meditation, and he was asking me about out-of-body experiences, which I have done a lot in the past. I used to go to sleep and astro travel to nightclubs and then go the next day and tell everyone what they were doing in the nightclubs when I wasn't even there. And I was doing that in my 20s, and he was asking me a bit of information about that. And anyway, yesterday morning, Jude, my wife, put on a meditative music, and it happened to be the American Indians. And they all came up on the screen, these black and white photographs, and I found myself in the kitchen chanting American Indian chants, which I didn't even understand, but I just knew the feeling and the resonance of the frequency of the whatever it was mumbling out of my mouth. There was a connection. And then I felt a connection to the pictures on the screen. And I went into a conscious meditation. I bawled my eyes out. I felt their pain, even though it was a picture. The picture was representing them, their souls. I connected. There was about 9 of them on this video. I connected with each and every single one of them on that soul level, and I found myself acknowledging where they were back then, when white man obviously took the photographs of the Indians, and I felt where they were at that time, and I wanted to say to them, it was a bit even hard in even what I actually said. It was like I needed to acknowledge and let them know that things are going to be all right. That's a funny thing, considering, I'm not American, I'm not Indian. Maybe I've got this heritage, because the Indian heritage has come into play in the last couple of days. Very, very, very powerful. And I felt myself acknowledging each, the chief, the ladies, the old ladies, the young warriors. I felt that their soul was merging with my soul, one by one. That was freaking phenomenal. That happened yesterday morning. And then I spoke a little bit later on to a lovely friend, soul sister in Utah, and I hadn't really talked so much about the Indian thing. And then she said, "Oh, I'll pull a couple of cards out for you." And the first card she pulled out was the buffalo spirit. Mate, I just had goosebumps. And when she started explaining to me what the buffalo spirit was talking about and what that card wanted to tell me, she starts telling me that the Indians, basically, you've connected to the Indians, and they want you to know that you still hold fear in certain areas of your life, and they want you to know that you've got to let go of that fear. The fear of whatever it is, the fear of money worries or something, for example. That was part of it. Things like that. And to let and they wanted me to know through this card that everything's going to be fine. It's going to be more than fine, but I have to let these certain things go. The fear. And that fear, that's judgment again, judging myself. I got sick 10 years ago. after I got sick 10 years ago, lost control of my business, nearly lost my house, and that fear of, being the man in the house, the man that's supposed to be providing for his family, the fear of not being able to do that has now, all I understand now, and this has only happened now over the last 2 days, Todd, that's been holding me back. So with a little bit of help from this meditation, connecting with the Indians, this card reading from this beautiful lady, and another understanding that I had with this other fellow today, Kai's father, Dan, his name is to drop the fear of whatever it is, whatever it is in your life. And when I'm saying that, I really mean this. I really want people to feel this. And it's not just words. Drop the fear. They're just words. I want people to feel that, to really understand. I'm learning too. And like even the last 2 days, that understanding now, I'm ready for it. I know I'm ready for it. Now I am. I thought I was ready for it before. Obviously not. But no judgment there. I am now. So this is my time now to do with the information and the knowledge and the understanding that I'm learning now, to do what I need to do for myself, be the best person that I can be in every moment, and deal with the challenges the best way in every moment as they appear. And, put the faith, they say put the faith in the universe. I think it's put the faith in you, and the universe, if that's, see, I believe there's more than one universe and all that. So I think it's put the faith back into you, and the vibration of consciousness itself, which runs through you, will be raised, and we leave the lower vibrational shit behind. And it is basically that simple. There are so many people talk about this, and so many people talk about this, and so many people tell you what you have to do and what you can't do, what you should do, and all that kind of stuff. That's all great too. But at the end of the day, it really all boils down to the Feng Shui that runs through everything. And a couple of people have spoken to me about that, and they've used another word, balance. The balance. Well, the balance happens automatically when the energy is flowing the way it should be. That's the organic flow of Feng Shui, and in a perfect sort of situation, when the Feng Shui is flowing uninterrupted, then that's when there's perfect balance. And if we get knocked off balance a little bit, well, that's up to us how quick we want to get ourselves back on balance. It's like that old thing, like you fall over. Well, when you fall over, you're going to lay down on the ground and fucking whinge and whine and or you're going to get up and keep going. Well, guess what? That's up to us as an individual and what our beliefs are. maybe I might just lay on the ground and have a little suki la la until somebody comes up to me and says, "Are you all right?" "No, I'm not all right. I just fell over and I hurt myself." Well, if that's the pattern and the belief that that's running through you, that's the way it is. Or are you going to fall over and just get back up? And they're the tests. And how many times do we fall over and do we get back up, and do we fall over and get back up? And you hear it all the time. And some people are going to be presented, lots of people are going to be presented with opportunities, one after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. You're going to be pushed over, you're going to get back up, you're going to be pushed over, you're going to get back up, you're going to be pushed over and get back up. And guess what? Never give up, because that last time that you might fall over and decide not to get back up might be the last time that you ever need to get back up, if I put it that way. So for the people that it resonates with, stop sweating on the bullshit little stuff. There's an old saying that my wife and I use, and it's let me think how it goes now. I've got a mental blank, but it's revolving around. It's a bit like don't. I've got a mental blank. Don't let the ability to let those things that truly don't matter slide. In its wholeness, that saying, to adapt the ability to let those things that don't really matter, let them slide. That if you put that into practice, instead of whinging and whining and complaining about all these fucking little things, if you start to understand energy and thought processing and all that sort of stuff, there is only ever now, right now. And if you want to fill up that now with whinging and fucking whining and complaining about this and complaining about this person and that person, well, that's what your reality is, because there is only ever now, unless we get a little bit deeper about jumping timelines and, interstellar travel and teletransportation. But, I know about all that sort of stuff. There are a lot of people that do, but there are a lot of people that aren't ready for it either. And maybe along the way, they will be. Talking about things, get a little bit now about a post that you did with Morgan and some pictures that appeared in the sky, the rectangle. I said to Morgan yesterday, I saw those photographs, and guess what? When I was going through my photographs, I've been taking a lot of the moon lately, and my wife said, Jude said, Mick, look, and guess what? That big dark rectangle's in one of my photographs, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more what I'm understanding is that the more we raise our vibrational frequency, the more we're changing from a lower vibrational frequency. We're talking about, if I'm talking about energy and frequency vibration, we're talking about a little bit what I was talking with my son and a couple of his mates about UFC fighting. Now, I'm a martial arts and a kickboxing champion and all that sort of stuff back when I was younger. Now, these days they've got this, you know, the UFC, rough and tumble, I'm the toughest bloke on the planet and all that sort of stuff. And it's a big thing. It's a big money-making machine. And there's a lot of ego that's involved in that sport. Now, I've recently been introduced to a fellow that's a pressure point and energy chi master. And he can knock the biggest bloke out on this planet with one finger in 1 second, in an instant. Now, and he's a master of chi balls. He'll create these energy balls, and I saw him with another little 9-year-old, doing a demonstration where this little 9-year-old worked up an energy ball and threw it towards a guy that was 6'6" and knocked him off his feet. Now, when you know that's possible by a human being, it throws everything. It throws all this other stuff. When you look at these guys fighting in these rings and trying to destroy each other on a physical level, and you know that there's somebody that can just knock their lights out without even touching them, it throws your thought process into a higher vibrational frequency where, you know, those guys now, okay, they're beautiful too. They can jump on top of each other and stomp on each other and throw each other out the ring and whatever they want to do, because that's the patterns and belief that they're in at that moment. But when you know that we as humans are so much more capable, once we know certain knowledge and have the opportunity and information to amass the knowledge and create an understanding, well then that knowledge wouldn't be used for that. It's not receptive anymore. It's like, as I'm getting my vibrational frequency rising, I'm not being attracted to meat anymore. I used to love my meat. The first thing that I sort of stopped eating, and I don't really enjoy it was bacon. And I'm not really a fan of meat anymore. And, you know, I could say, oh, you know, cruelty to animals, this, that, and the other. But the information that I've been receiving for quite some time is that we're not supposed to be eating meat. That's another programmed pattern that's been ingrained into us. We may have eaten meat here and there, but predominantly we're not supposed to be eating meat. And, you know, I could point you towards scientists and explanations that'll explain all that sort of stuff, you know, the same as drinking milk and all that kind of stuff as well. But, you know, when your frequency vibration rises, it's not attracting a lower vibration. So you can fall back into a lower vibration, but the high vibration will not attract a lower vibration. But it works opposite to, if you're in a lower vibration, the higher vibration, if you're aware of it, will pull you towards that higher vibration. So this is like, you know, without you even knowing, Todd, what you started doing what you're doing, what you were really actually doing was initiating a vibrational frequency that was higher than the lower vibrational frequency and was attracting the high vibrational frequency in other people. And that's essentially what's been happening with your idea and manifestation of Soulogy. You created a high vibrational frequency that is very, very attractive to other people that are feeling resonance to that higher vibrational frequency. And that's my perspective in its simplest form. I'm finding myself thinking about things more, especially this year, on the simplest logical explanations, feelings that I can. So just that little explanation, that's what you've done. And you may have not have heard it in those words, but that's what you've done. You were in a lower dense vibration, and you somehow on your journey raise that vibration, and of course of course it was up and down, up and down. I've watched you, Todd, for years now. Of course it's up and down, up and down, up and down, because guess what, we're becoming accustomed to the higher vibrational frequency, and the more accustomed you come to that higher vibrational frequency, the more you will stay in it. So eventually the goal is not to be in that lower vibrational frequency at all, zero. But as humans, we're traveling our journey. We're experiencing situations and opportunities that give us the opportunity to react to whatever those situations are, and as a result of that reaction, will create a consequence. And the consequence of what you started has been like a snowball going down the mountain. You were the snowflake up the top of that mountain that came up with the idea of, rolling down that mountain and seeing how many people you could attract along the way. And look what's been happening, and look what's happening right now. It's absolutely beautiful. And to the people that are coming in to Soulogy more and more every day, the consciousness, awareness, the connections are just connecting and connecting and connecting and connecting. So the understanding of that connection, brings us all together. So that's that's where we are now. And you doing what you're doing has allowed this moment to happen for me. And the moments that happen for every single person that we connect to on every single level in our life. It's raising that vibrational frequency, and you might get a bit of shit. You know what happened with you when you first started all this sort of this up. The shit you got from people, even your own family, the whole lot. You fucking nutcase. Okay, that's it. Even me, when I went through my cancer and that, I got told I was going to be put in a straitjacket. You don't know what you're doing. You're going to end up killing yourself. Well, 10 years later, cancer free, all that sort of stuff. Still got all my limbs, if you know what I mean. And the people that looked at me like I was an idiot and a nutcase back then, well, they don't see me that way anymore. They're looking for me now for help and advice and inspiration in some of these areas in their life. So to step out the box, Todd, or to put it in another way, to finally realize that there is no box, that the box that's been created around us is an illusion that was created to contain us. And, you know, somebody made a comment with me a little while ago, and the lady said, oh, you know, you're so energetic, Mick, and, you know, you're definitely one out of the box. And I thought about that, and I felt, you know, most of my life, I felt like a little bit of a jack in the box. You know, somebody opens up the lid, I stick my head out, and then I get the lid slammed on top of my head until they're ready to lift the lid next time. Well, there isn't any box anymore for me. The box doesn't exist. I'm out. And there is no box now. So I can't even say I'm never going to go back in the box, because the box doesn't exist to me. It's a little bit like the saying, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel, you know. Well, to me, the tunnel's the illusion. You know, we're being programmed again, even by that. Oh, the light's around the corner, you know, the light's at the end of the tunnel. Well, I don't think about things like that anymore in that way either. You know, I don't. That goes back to that connection of oneness through it, through everything. So really, let me just have a little look what I've got here. Changing the program. Changing the program. That's really what it's about too. You know, we talk about the program and the programming and all that sort of stuff. The Feng Shui, the energy that flows, the fabric of consciousness itself is organic and free flowing. And we've had conditions, we've had conditions that have been created to us and beliefs that have been created to us to stop that flow. So now, with so many people coming together and understanding those things, we're repairing the damage to consciousness itself, or we're repairing the damage to the physical aspects of consciousness, which also vibrate at a frequency. And once that's sort of fixed, the frequency of the energy consciousness is raised and basically put back to how it should. So yeah. That saying that I had, the little analogy of don't fuck up the Feng Shui. Bring it back to that. Even if that helps people on every little decision that you want to make in your life, even if you've got something you want to say to somebody else, have a little think about it. Is what you're going to say going to fuck up the Feng Shui, even if it's just a little bit?
That rhymes. Yeah, that rhymes. I'm gonna put that in a rap song. So think about what you're gonna say. Is it gonna fuck up the Feng Shui?
That's it.
Mick, I don't really know what to say other than thank you for everything.
That's just that's beautiful in itself, Todd. And I can't see who's been watching, because I can't see any of that stuff on my phone. But I'm gonna love to just go back through after we've finished and have a look at
how I think
this information has been received?
it's been received very well. It's not, you know, we broadcast at a lot of different times, and it's not the most opportune time to broadcast, but based on my experience in 800 shows now, it's received very well, and yeah. You made an incredible imprint on the universal, and most important, you know, more importantly, you know, the core of where we're at, which is here in the earth realm in this transition. So, you know, I don't know what else to say, but other than thank you very much for everything.
No judgment. No judgment. Don't fuck up the Feng Shui. Accept everything that exists for as it is at that moment. You know, and concentrate. Where I'm at now, after I had the brick on the head with the Feng Shui, the don't fuck up the Feng Shui bit, I was able then to see the energy, which I have seen before. You know, when I went through all my health issues and all that, I was given information. I could see energy in plants and molecular stuff and all that sort of stuff, but it was very fractal. Now, over the last couple of days, I see it all the time. And so I said to my son, Mikey, I said, now I'm fully aware of this, Mike. I really do know now. Where I thought I knew before, I didn't know. I just thought I knew. And now I do. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to be controlling the Feng Shui, and when someone might hear the word control, they might think there's ego involved in that. No, I mean my intent is to control the not to restrict or stick my little dirty grubby fingers in the Feng Shui, but I want to feel it and control it. And like a magnifying glass that magnifies the sun to ignite something, that's what I feel is what I'm going to be doing, is controlling the Feng Shui flow and directing it and intensifying it like a magnifying glass, like the analogy of a magnifying glass and the sun's rays.
Yeah.
If you intensify it, you will ignite something. And my plan now is, with information, especially over the last few days, is to intensify that energy and direct it to areas of my life and other people's lives, and for whatever reason it may be. Maybe it may be for health reasons. Maybe there's a few. So there'll be health reasons. There'll be money aspects. There'll be the connection, you know, to more people, the attraction to that high vibrational frequency, and direct that flow of energy to everything.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes you know, like everything, you need to concentrate on something. You need to intensify the energy in certain areas to create a situation. You know, I'm looking at this guy. I just thought then, here's a little photo, this guy on the TV. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Now, he had to light that fire to stay warm. So what he had to do was intensify the energy between certain materials to ignite a fire and a flame, so he could keep warm and see in the dark. So, you know, it's just basically intensifying the energy between, you know, particles to create a different vibration, and those vibrations will react in different ways. So the concentration of the Feng Shui and the energy into my life and into other people's lives with absolutely the purest intent.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
With the absolute purest intent is the intent.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm seeing 111 on my computer, 111 on the last comment, 111 reactions. So that
and I'm looking at an 11 on my.
Huh?
I've got some other thing that's come up on my screen, and it says 11 as well.
So the lesson of the day: don't fuck up the Feng Shui.
That's it.
And what I gleaned out of it real quick was, well, if you're thinking about whether you're fucking up the Feng Shui, then the next thing becomes you can actually feel the Feng Shui, which is what you're talking about, which is the amplification of the light. Thank you again, Mick. I really, really loved it. It was they're all, I don't know what to say other than thank you and the best to your family and yourself. And, if you want to get Mike, you want to get Mikey on or this young kid or whoever, or collaborate again soon. I'm up for it.
Yeah. I think I'll have a chat with Morgan now and let her know that I've spoken to Dan and let you guys know about his 9-year-old son Kai and where he is in his where he is on this planet as a young starseed and with the information that he contains and bring some of these younger crew to light and listen. So this is the change where the old patterns of belief was the young ones sit down, shut up and speak when you're spoken to. We're at the stage now where we are now learning from the young ones.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's it. We're learning now from them. We're learning from each other, of course. Absolutely. But we're learning from them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I'm looking forward to that. And I would encourage anybody out there that's listening to the live or the replay, if you know a young person who might be interested in coming on, then certainly reach out to Morgan or myself. So, best to everybody tonight. It was a great way to end a great day of broadcasting. It was a powerful day of broadcasting, and we'll be back tomorrow. Possibly, we might have to take a day off because we're in transition. But thanks again, Mick. Best to you and your family. I look forward to collaborating with you again many, many more times and eventually seeing you. All right. Peace out, brother. Thank you, everybody.
Big love.
Yeah, big love to you, man.
Everyone. Thank you for listening. One.
Take care. One to you, bro.
Love you, mate. Bye for now.